This is call to order for, this is the Board of Assessment Appeals, February 18th, 2026. And in attendance right now, I want to have everyone just go around and say who's in attendance. I'm the chair, Peter Rupert.
Paulette Kuzo, I'm here.
What's your name?
Paulette Kuzo.
Colette.
Paulette.
Paulette.
Yeah,
It's hard, I'm sorry.
That's kind of.
I'm Katie Gusson. You might say Catherine, whatever makes it easier for you.
Laura O'Brien.
Chrissy Kelly.
I think the record should reflect that Laura brought the handbook.
Yes.
Super on the ball.
Put it in a book.
You printed it all
And
out?
also, I don't know, did you put the time? to the meeting?
5:30. He gave it to
Oh, okay.
Wow.
All right,
I wouldn't
so
waste that ink.
We should, by the way, I'm just going to say, your priest was a lot nicer than mine.
You know what? I went to St. Luke's in Westport just because I was up there and the timing worked better. And he was kind of like, let's get it going. To be fair, also, I went like this at one point when I was reading an email, so I may have brushed it off.
All right, so we'd stand in for the pledge.
I'll sit. I'll drink up. By the time I get up, it'll be over. I got it.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
And justice for all. The leans will lead us. I
Yes.
make a lean all the time. You
Pledge.
I don't think there's liberty and justice for
I know.
everybody.
I was saying, you know how many times I said that growing up and then we act like that didn't mean anything to any of us? It's insane. Like, liberty and justice every single day, my whole life, and then it's like, do it.
You're black.
I know.
So let's go around and just introduce, obviously, we have a lot of new members, all right? So Paulette, why don't you start?
I'm Paulette Kuzo. I work as a realtor now. I used to be a nurse, but I gave it up. Been a realtor for about 20 years or 22 years. I've been on the board for about, I think maybe 12 years. I lost count of how many years I've been on the board. I was a chair at one point, vice chair at another point, now just a member. Pretty much that's it. I've been in town for 60 years.
I'm Katie Gusson. I am one of those plug-ins this year. I'm not officially, I mean, I guess technically I'm an official member, but I won't ever see you guys again.
permanent.
Yeah, so it's just for this reval year. I grew up here, moved away, came back. I was on the board for several years. I don't know the years either. I was chair as well, 12, a long time. And then I've done this. I think this is my third time maybe doing this, when you're desperate need of my help. I'll fill in. And that's that.
Laura O'Brien. I have not served on this board before. I've lived in Fairfield, I'm losing track, something like 35 years. And I'm a temporary fill-in for this assessment period. I've been on board Bicycle and Pedestrian Committee previously, but I haven't worked in any other town capacities.
Chrissy Kelly. I also am just here temporarily. I'd previously been on the RTM and the Board of Education. I've lived in Fairfield for about 20 years. I went to Fairfield University, always knew I'd come back here, and here I am.
Did you mention you were on the board of?
I did. I was on the RTM and the Board of Ed. Yeah.
I'm Peter Rupert. This is my 6th year of the board, 7th year of the board. Yeah.
Good for you.
You heard I said 12, right? Like,
Well, right?
okay, Laura.
No, but you've been filling in,
Yeah,
right?
no, but, yeah.
No, you weren't filling
No,
in.
but I wasn't
You-
filling
you
in for
served
12, I was
12.
on for 12.
Okay, got it.
All right.
Finish my service.
I missed it.
I'm kidding you.
My name is Ronique Patel. This is my second time serving. First time I served was only for a temporary 2-year stint. And happy to be here.
What's your first name again?
Ronique Patel. Ronique.
Ronique.
Yes.
I will, unfortunately, I don't have a copy of the December minutes. Did those ever get sent? They got sent to?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. I really apologize about that. You should look this over again before I did that. So, but we do need to re-vote on the, and I have specific language from our, so we, as the Board of Assessment Appeals, we can choose not to hear commercial properties over 1 million, right? 1 million or above. And so we did vote not to do that, but I guess we did it incorrectly. So I have some new language that was sent to me by the board attorneys. Let me pull that up here.
Who's the attorney now, Peter?
Phil Pierce.
Phil Pierce?
I don't know if we should wait for Neil, and we could do that, later, because he was here on that vote originally. So why don't we do that if we can just postpone?
Do it later in the meeting.
All right.
You're expecting him to come.
Yeah, I have not heard that he was not coming.
Do you have to make a motion to postpone it?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
We're going to try to keep our the civility here, right, to an appropriate level, but we're also going to, not be so focused on the Roberts rules, right? So we've in the past used kind of an abbreviated version of them, and so, that's probably what we're going to do here, all right? And if it seems like we're getting gummed up, then maybe we'll have to go back to a more, stricter version of that, okay? So I do want to say, though, that on the original calendar of dates, we did not have March 2nd or March 3rd as meeting dates, and we probably will need them because of the number of appeals that we have. So we have to put them on as special meeting dates. So I'm going to make a motion to add March 2nd and March 3rd. And again, the same AM times, 10 to 1. And although I do want to speak about the timing in a moment, but 10 to 1 each of those days, and then 4 to 8 for each of those days as well.
Peter, excuse me, I just have a question. With the second and the third, I think we left them off last time because you were concerned that the notices wouldn't be out in time. Have you talked to the assessor?
Right. I did speak with the assessor. So my plan is, and again, just purely because of the timing and the number that I think we're going to have, I think that, first of all, they can send them out by email, so they can send a, physical notice, and they can send them out by email. And maybe we front load some of, if the commercials or whatever that we have that, we can do it in that fashion first, all right? So, if we need to cancel a date because we don't feel like we can schedule in time, then we will, all right? So I make the motion that we add March 2nd, 2026 and March 3rd, 2026 as special meeting dates.
This is Veronique, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I just didn't know if we were are we a voting member
Yes.
of?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're still fully here.
Until we're not.
Right. That's a great way to put it.
Well, if you're lucky, you'll be here for another year after this.
Why?
Right, because the law says that you can do it for this year and the next year if you still need it. You still have
You're
chance-
gonna need it.
If we need it again next year, if there's too many appeals, then we can do it again.
Unless we move.
You can always resign, right?
Sometimes they can knock a majority out the first year.
I'd also like to skip down past, so I just want to let you know too that in the review of the hearing, no, I'm sorry, the update on the number type and number of appeals. Ross will be joining us just to give us an update on the number. Ross is the town assessor.
It's a big number.
I'm sorry?
It's a big number,
Yeah, it is a big number. I mean,
I'm not surprised.
hundreds.
Hundreds? All right. I
Let
thought
Rob tell you the number.
yesterday,
It's a big number.
I mean, yeah, I didn't see today's, additions, but as of last night, there was 269. I
As
thought
of
was
today,
the number.
right before I came, I looked, because I was reading them. So I looked to see how many, it was 405.
Yeah, but
that include-
1,800 appeal, like do the informals? Oh, I was expecting it would be outrageous.
That's coming to us, 400.
Yeah, we
Wait,
could.
is it the ones coming to us or is it the ones that went through?
This is everything coming to us. Everybody who filed an application to come before us.
Got it.
Now, some of them are commercial, and we'll talk about the
Yeah,
commercial
yeah.
things later, but
What's the cutoff for filing? Because I saw someone today who asked me and I was like,
Friday.
Friday, okay. Fingers crossed.
But that's not including the informal hearings.
We have nothing to do with those, yeah.
Right, so that number is not in the informal.
That's not
hearings.
including that, no.
Just wanna make
No,
sure.
informal was like 1,800.
Yeah.
And I was expecting we'd be close to that because I didn't think, that from what I heard for the two people that went, they were like, we didn't get anything off. So I was like, oh, we're going to have 1,000 hearings.
What is the difference? How is informal done and what qualifies for informal?
You just cut it in earlier and you meet directly with the company that went out and, well, didn't go out, but.
The assessing.
Yeah, nothing to do with the town. And they kind of like, I don't know, same process in terms of evidence supplied, and then they make an adjustment or they don't.
I've heard a number of people have had adjustments from the informal process, but they could still come to the board.
If they're not satisfied with what they got.
Yeah.
Online, they were saying some people even were complaining that theirs actually went up after they appealed.
Makes sense. It's
We
possible.
technically
Well, they
have the
can.
right to do
We have the
can
right
do
to do that too.
Right, but I think more people than I thought were actually on the same thread.
A lot of nerves
saying,
to say.
"Ours unfortunately went up."
Yeah,
Interesting, yeah.
That's a tactic, I think, to get people not to appeal.
sure.
Yeah, they shouldn't have, they had, yeah, that's bad. We don't want to do that.
Does I mean, you can review the town's charter for civility and the standards of conduct. I can pull that up.
It's in the book.
It's in our, you're in the, well, the town, that's the BAA, right?
That's a BAA.
Right, yeah, there is a town that, Fairfield Town has a charter and rules of civility and standards of conduct. We do have this BAA handbook. I know, did you need a copy of the BAA handbook?
Why not?
I have it emailed.
Oh, email,
Yeah,
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 that's what I meant.
Yeah,
Make sure you
I
have the
need
new
it.
one, because it changed.
Yeah, I don't need it.
But I have a hard copy if you.
No, thank you. Wasting all that paper and
No, I
ink.
hate that. I hate that.
I think what's nice about it is some of the changes were where they quote from the Connecticut General Statute, which they didn't before. They just made a comment, and so you could argue about it. Now it says this is Connecticut General Statute, and then they removed they removed some of the language that I thought was good, but it's not up to me.
Do you have anything, Paulette, you'd want to add about the rules of civility, conduct of standard, anything that you think we should know?
Oh, well, let me say.
I mean, I'm not saying that for any
No,
reason,
I'm
just
just
in your
going to
experience.
I just wanted to say that, like, I'm probably the one who breaks those all the time, but I'm not going to do that anymore, so.
I'm too tired.
At least I'm honest about it. So, no, I mean, it's true, like, there's a certain, like, it's pretty explanatory in the code. I think that in here, it's a little bit difficult because it gets heated sometimes, because we are discussing, it's different than other boards. That's why the Roberts rules for the shortened version works better for us. It's a small group, and we're discussing a particular appeal. It's very hard to do it following those strict rules of the chair recognizes this one. It just doesn't work. So it's usually just a discussion, so sometimes it gets a little out of control. So we just have to be, I particularly have to be more cautious about, how rambunctious I get, but I will try, so. Yeah, but it kind of like sets the stage to argue, because you're trying to discuss it, and, people have strong feelings about it. So I think the best thing to remember is that it doesn't matter what we think. Like, I might not like the appeal. I mean, I know, I've been here for 60 years. I probably know half the people that are on that list of appeals. It doesn't matter if I like them or not. What matters is what's in front of me on the appeal. And if it's right, if it's right, it's right, no matter what I think about it. I might not like it. I read a couple that I didn't like, but that doesn't mean I can't vote yes. So just have to keep that in mind, that you're voting on what's in front of you, not really what you think, the evidence.
I will agree with that. When I did one fill-in year, I'm a Democrat, but no matter what was in front of my fellow Democrats, they were saying no. And I was so disappointed in that because I thought, like, this is, to me, this is nothing to do with party politics. This is just, as an attorney especially, it's, if you have the evidence in front of you and you feel that there's relief needed, then you have to move that way, regardless of what you think of the rest of it. And so as long as we're all going to do that, I think we're good.
And I think we have I mean, I don't know the new people, but I'm assuming that it'll be, I think that some of the people that aren't here, that were here, I think some of them are gone now, so I think we won't have as much of that party, that it's not, this really should not be political ever. This is.
Agreed.
Political on
I
this.
agree, I agree with that. There's really no, there's no need for politics here, so.
Yeah.
Definitely not here, yeah.
But we do need to make sure that we are, first of all, the appellant has to provide their evidence, right? I mean, we, shouldn't be making the case for the appellant. They should be making their case, right? That's their duty. And then ours is to rule on the evidence that they've provided.
Peter, excuse me, Helene wanted me to bring something up too. She wanted me to mention that she's been through, both of us have, we've looked at a lot of them. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, because of what we do for a living, people will call us and say, I don't understand, this went up $500,000, how could this be? Is this right? Well, I don't know if it's right or not. I'm not doing the deal. But in looking at, somebody will call me, I might hang up the phone and say, well, I don't know if it's right, let me look. And I'll look at it, and it is or it isn't. But she found a lot of discrepancies and a lot of inconsistencies in how it was done.
Is this year?
This year, yeah. So she wanted me to mention that it looks like to her, it's going to be harder for us to decide just based on sold comps, which is what we tend to use, because that's the best evidence. If something sold for this in that period, then it's, and yours is exactly like it, then yours should be the same. But she said it's very hard to find that. She's finding that there's so many discrepancies that she's looked at, I haven't, but she's looked at other houses on the same street or in that neighborhood that Ross has assigned. He assigned a neighborhood code to people. She'll go in that code and look and find that there's a big discrepancy with very similar houses. As similar as we can believe they are, we can't see inside of them, so we don't know. Unless you've been in the house because it was for sale and you know that it's been updated or not updated. For the most part, we're going on just by the characteristics, not by what it looks like inside. So she wants to make
What
sure we can.
discrepancies is she talking about? Is she talking about field cards or sale prices?
No, not talking about sale prices. She's talking about assessed values and appraised values by Tyler.
So when you're so what are some of the discrepancies still? I'm still failing to understand.
Let's say somebody says, well, look at my house. I have a 4-bedroom colonial and it's on a 1/4-acre lot.
Yeah.
And it's in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
She'll go into that neighborhood and look at houses that are the same, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath.
So she's comparing field cards.
And she's comparing, yeah, she's
That's
comparing.
not a good way to do that.
And you're an expert at this? I'm sorry, why?
No, because we've learned from previous experiences comparing field cards, your exact neighbor could have the same exact house and the numbers could be different for many reasons,
And why
right?
would the reasons be?
We've mentioned that many times on this board, Paulette, and so, I mean, you
And
can't
she's
go over
starting
your
off on
neighbor,
negative.
you can't go off of another assessed value. You have to go on comparable sales.
Well, it isn't going to work. So I think we need to look at everything. Man, I'm not saying that that's the answer. I'm saying that she's saying that we look at it, which we never used to do so much before. I've done it in the past.
There's appellants that have brought up other assessed values in their neighborhood. And that is other assessed value is not good for making a claim that their assessed value should be lowered.
I think that was an argument. I think you're right about that was an argument, that people would say, well, you can't use that. And then there would be another argument among the members, and then the majority would rule. Unfortunately, depending on how, I shouldn't say unfortunately, depending on what people thought about it. But I think you have to look at everything, because the properties, they're so high. And that's, Rick, if there's one or two, I can see your point. Like occasionally, it's never going to be 100%. This isn't easy for them to do either.
And if they can't find a
One
comparable
after the
sale-
other, after the other. Yeah. Somebody actually called me today, and they're sending an appeal in, and he said that he was having trouble because in his neighborhood, he has a lot that's much bigger than everybody else's. Now, personally, if I were doing it, I wouldn't have put him in that neighborhood. He's on a border of two neighborhoods, but they put him in a neighborhood where the quarter-acre lot is typically what you find. Once in a while, you'll find something a little bigger. He has an acre. And so what he's finding is, how am I going to find comps? There's no other, because I've been everywhere. He's had to go to the other side of town to find comps. And when they come up, people are going to say, oh, that's the other side of town. That doesn't matter. But if there aren't any, what are we going to do?
But all I'm saying is, if you're going to say that there's a discrepancy in the appeal process,
Yeah.
That's not a good discrepancy if that's what her claim is, that other field cards aren't matching their field cards, right? So,
We're
I
not
mean.
talking about well, yeah, we are talking about the field card, you're right.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're gonna say that there's a discrepancy, then have there be a legitimate discrepancy.
Well, the
I don't see that
discrepancy
as
is-
a discrepancy.
I guess you could look at it and say it's a field card, but the actual discrepancy is you valued my property way higher than 25 other properties.
And
That's
if
a problem.
And if that's the case, they can bring it to the board and we can deliberate
That's
on
what, right, and
that.
that's what she's saying. She's saying that when we look at them, she found that, and we're probably gonna see it here. I think that's the point she's trying to make, that we're gonna see the same thing here. Because the same people are gonna,
Should we defer this conversation to when we have real
Example.
incidents, examples of this?
You just wanna-
We're talking about what ifs right
Sure,
now.
right.
it's not gonna be what if, it's gonna be that's what's coming.
But I would also, I just want to say though, the whole revaluation process, there is formulas that have been used and it has been approved by the state, right? They have
Right.
to submit, their numbers to the state within a certain, level.
It proves the formula.
Yeah, so,
And these numbers aren't made up.
I mean, that's all I would say. So, yes, why don't we move on, all right? So
Let
thank
me
you.
bring that up,
Sure,
so,
of course,
that's
yeah.
what she was concerned most about, so.
Sure, thank you. So I just do want to talk about kind of just give an overview of the process for the people, especially people who haven't been through it before. I have some paperwork here. None of these documents are, some of them are just sample type things, and so nothing is written in stone. It's just going to give you a feel, but we will have actual like scripts for you so that you understand what has to happen at the hearings. I mean, those are the most important things, and then when we deliberate, that's a different kind of situation. But really, the hearings right now are the ones that. So, I guess I'll just start out. Again, sorry for killing all these trees, but.
I'm a paper person.
You're a paper person? Okay, there you go.
I like
I have no problem with it.
Right, so again, these are just samples.
Thank you.
All right, this is just the hearing notice that they get. All right, so you understand how that works. Chelsea, do you want to?
Sure.
Okay, sure.
I don't know, does that need to go into like the record or something? I don't
This is
know
what they get. Yeah.
if you're
I'll
passing
submit
it
it
out. Okay. Thank you.
All right, so this is just tell us, just tells the appellant, when their hearing is, it just gives them some other information there, all right? So that's something that comes out to them. We can take a little tour or not, but the hearing rooms, right, we're going to be using a room, the first room down here on the right as you come up the stairs. That's going to be, there's going to be a phone and computer in there, and a table and chairs. And then in the back corner here, there is where the credit union used to be. There's going to be three different sections. There's two back offices that we're going to use, and then the outer office, there's going to be a table set up in there. Again, with computer, with phone, so to be.
Three
recording.
offices.
Yeah, and then, of course, this room here will be.
We'll get more specifics when the time
Yes,
comes.
of course, yes, yeah.
Just-
It'll be, yeah,
But it is in this building.
yes, yes.
Hey, we're not recording them, are we?
We are recording them.
Why are we recording the hearings?
It's a,
I think I asked Peter, why are we recording the hearings? I'm only asking because it's not required, that's why I'm asking.
But they are FOIable, so,
But FOI says they're not required to be recorded.
but how can you FOI something if you can't record it?
I don't know, according to the guy who did the FOI thing for the town, Blair. I asked him specifically, he sent me an email and said that he thought they were, but he looked into it and he said they're not. He said he doesn't know why, but for some reason the BAA is not. There were other town boards are. Zoning is, all that, but the BAA is not. So
Okay,
it just makes an extra burden on everybody to have to work the freaking machine.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, yes, I don't think, okay, so when the appellant then comes in, one of the first things that you're going to do is you're going to swear them in, all right? So this is just kind of a script. Here,
Thank you.
and then
Okay, thanks.
All right. If the appellant, so, you have to ask, are you the homeowner? And if they are not the homeowner, then they have to have something that tells them they have permission to represent the appellant, all right? So if they don't have that letter, then you'll have to stop the hearing, okay?
If they don't have a letter?
If they don't have like an authorization to be able to represent. And you don't have to swear in attorneys,
Okay.
okay? So just the.
So you start by this bottom statement, to give the,
Yeah.
make this
yeah.
where, it's
And then make sure-
it's at the end.
I know.
But if you say it
Make
first,
sure they sign it though.
and then make sure they sign it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, everybody who's, if two people come and they're both the homeowners, they both have to be sworn in, if they're both gonna speak.
Sure.
If only one's gonna speak, then you don't have to, but chances are they both will.
Okay.
So then you should be you'll be getting a file, all right? And in that file will be the evidence that the appellant has sent in, all right? There should be a field card in there as well. And there'll be a hearing, so let me pass this out.
Yep.
All right.
And the time on this is important too, because like if you need to go back to the recording for like your own information and you're doing your own due diligence, that'll be your way
I'll
of
help you find it.
going back, yeah.
So, all right, so there's you can record the starting time there. You're going to look over, just read this information to the appellant, and if there's some, you have the wrong, there are actually 14 Stoneleaf Road, right? That's a big deal. So just do that. If there's more than one board member hearing the appeal, which, for the first couple of rounds, we were going to ask, new people to sit with more experienced people to understand the process. All right, and then if there's another board member there, you can list their name. On the second page there, this is where,
So appellant is the second board member? Or what?
No, that's the
No,
person
no.
appealing.
That's the person appealing.
Evaluation.
There's only, just write the other board member next to
Correct,
that
correct,
person's name.
that's correct.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
You see, I was the example.
Yes.
It's a bad example, it's an example of now not to do it, or
So, and then on the next page, you're gonna have like this, a notes page, where again, it's got the same information up there. And you're gonna take notes as you're hearing the appellant present their case, all right? Just try to take your notes carefully. I personally like to have my notes, so, I try to make a copy of them. We don't have a copy machine here though, so you can take them, with your phone, take a picture with your phone.
We don't have a copy machine anymore? Didn't they have one down the hall?
Yeah, they don't have a copy
You'll want to
machine
take
any
notes,
longer.
because when we get together to deliberate, you'll be like, I don't remember that. I don't know these people, but you'll remember.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Is it on the field card, but does it show like what the old value was, like the year over year? So that'll be on the field card as
Yes.
opposed to on here. Okay.
Yes.
Do these notes go into the public record?
These notes do go into the
Yeah.
file, yes.
So you,
So if you write like a pain in the ass husband, they will see it, if they care enough.
That's what I'm asking. I mean, I could make notes on on the side or something on my phone if I wanted to, just to
Yeah.
help me remember something, but this is gonna be record. That's what I wanna know.
And just, so, as I said, this does have to go in to the file at the end of the hearing. Oftentimes appellants will come in with extra evidence that they want to present, documents that they want you to have. You must make sure that you put the appeal number on those documents, each of the documents. make sure you put the appeal number. And then I've asked Ross to give us clips, binder clips, small binder clips, so that we can bind those and make sure that they are all in the file, all right? And they should be, attached to the file, all right? So that's just an important step.
Just as an aside, I've been an appellant. So I've been on the
other side of this.
And I won my case. So just as an aside.
Sometimes the board is reasonable.
What's that?
Sometimes the board is reasonable.
We're pretty reasonable.
I had good data. What can I say? That's all it takes.
Paul, again, Paulette or Katie, is there something you want to add, with your experience, or Ronique, something that you remember when you were on last, that you want to add?
We didn't go through scripts or anything. I don't personally use a script, and no offense, Peter, but I don't plan to.
Yeah.
I'll look at it, but I'll probably ask more questions than what's on there, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So just my background is just that I do a lot of work with land and new construction and things, so I probably ask more questions about somebody's property than what they would be prepared to come in and say. I see no problem with that. Their job is to present their case, but ours is to understand about the property. Probably more than they do. Most people don't understand their own property. They might understand the house, the size, the condition, but they don't understand the land, and that's a big piece of it.
Not in my case. I'm in a condo.
Right, so you're in a condo.
Land has nothing to do with it.
Talk about comparing field cards. That was
Yeah, there you
probably
go.
important in
Yep.
your hearing.
And actually, they're
Those
going
are
to
like,
see that come up. That is
for
coming
sure.
up. So be prepared for that. Exactly what we were talking about earlier. If you go through the appeals, you'll see there's about 5 of them from a particular condo complex. They're all arguing that they're overassessed. And this came up last time,
Yeah. Yeah.
the same condo complex.
Yep.
So it seems to be a problem in that one particular spot. I think I know what causes it, but it seems to always come up at that particular condo complex. So you'll see it again. And it has to do with how they're not compared equally.
How they're,
They're not evenly compared. So it'll be interesting to see that'll come up. But anyway, the point was that, yes, I will probably ask a lot more questions. And we are, I don't know if it says in this handbook, the other handbook used to say it, but it talks about inspecting the properties. That we have the right to inspect the properties, and we should inspect them. Now, there's hundreds of them. We're not going to be able to inspect them all. But I have no problem going to somebody's property. If they tell me something and it's like, well, I really need to see it, I have no problem going. I've gone to many properties over the years and walked them, or gone in the house and looked at something. So there's that. There's always that possibility if you want to do it.
That'd be on your own, but that's not
I
doing
have
your,
time, but-
right?
Yeah, I have the time to do it, so.
And I just want to point out, I do think that we need to be very strict on the 15-minute time for the meetings. We just have too many.
gotta get through these.
Yeah, we have to get through them, and
And piggybacking both of these, I do like the script for the timing and to keep me on track, because there's so many things that happen during that session, and I'm not going to make the case for them, right? So I like to ask those questions, and I like sticking to the script, because
and again, this, the script.
crossing every
probably-
single.
Yeah, there's probably, I'm not gonna say, I didn't say I won't use it, I'm gonna look at it, and I'm certainly gonna use it, but I'm probably gonna add to it. There's nothing on here that I probably wouldn't ask. There might be something that I ask in addition, and though I'm not gonna make your case for them, we have to remember that if you read the town charter, that you are elected by the public for their interest. You're not here for the town's interest, you're here for the public's interest. If that means that I have to ask somebody something that I think will help them in their case, I'm not going to answer it for them, but I'm certainly going to ask them. They might have the answer in their head. They might be able to tell me. And besides that, since I've been to most of these properties in town, before they even come in the room, I know what the property probably looks like on the outside. Gee, is your property on a big slope? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, well, thank you for telling me, because that could affect the value.
But on, to that point though, there are adjustments that have been made on the property.
Sometimes there are, yeah. And I would look at the field card. If there's no adjustment, I'll take my own property. I have no adjustment on mine, I should. So, I don't own a house anymore. My name's not on the deed, so I don't come. The person who has that would probably come here and say, look at this, there's no adjustment on the land. Do I need an adjustment? Well, it's up to the board to decide if they want it or not, but technically, based on what the law says, he probably does deserve an adjustment. It's up to him if he wants to come or not. I'm not coming.
I don't know if now's the time to ask, but one thing I wonder about is somehow the assessor has to take into consideration the upgrades that have been made on the inside, but they haven't necessarily seen them.
Well, I mean, that's true, but they did, they did sign, they did sign a statement that says, this is, when that mailer went out, right? And, my understanding is that the mailers were pretty,
Yeah,
a high percentage were sent back. And, people had to sign off that this was a true statement of the condition of my home.
yeah.
So, I mean,
So we're just going by that.
yeah, right. I mean, there's not, that's
This
what,
time, yeah.
right, I mean, that's what
But we
we,
don't, but you never really know comparatively how nice the kitchen is compared to the kitchen in another house. It could have been a much nicer
You ask them
upgrade.
for pictures. If somebody's complaining that their bathroom's not updated, the kitchens aren't updated, did you bring me pictures? Show me that it's not. Show me that the cabinets are falling apart. And if they can show you that, then maybe there is room. If they can't, or if they won't, then something's not right.
And what's special about Fairfield, sometimes it's not really about the replacement cost of the house that's not driving the cost, it's the land and the property, because this place has gotten very expensive, right?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, so
The
I
street you're on,
yeah, so you're
the school system you're in.
right, it's all the things, and the sales prices reflect that, right? So it's like replacement cost of your house, no matter how great your kitchen is, may not even, right?
so I just want to just say two other things. So, I mean, we are, yes, people who are coming to appeal, we have a responsibility to them to make a fair decision on their part, but we also are representing other appellants who have decided not to come, right? That they've made a decision that, I'm satisfied with my assessment and, because the decisions that we make here are going to impact those people as well,
Totally.
all right? So,
No, yeah, the $10 more it's gonna cost them. That's not, to me, a reason not to give somebody if they deserve it, what they deserve.
It could be a lot more than 10. I mean, whenever the outcomes come from after our session, then we have a new grand list, and that's what determines the new mill rate.
I don't like that factors in at all. Right? Like, we're gonna look at these cases and objectively, I don't wanna even think about, oh God, that's gonna impact everybody else.
Oh, I agree.
It's right. And ultimately, if the appraisal is wrong or the assessment is wrong, then the fact that we have to pay more, that's how it always should have been, frankly.
Right, well, I agree.
Into this, so I don't wanna hear any of that.
We don't want to get into
Yeah.
impacting anybody
That's
else.
just the way it
We're gonna
goes.
look at it one
The way I feel
time.
There you go, Laura.
And Peter and I have discussed this and argued about it many times, but to me, we represent the people, you represent the people of the town. Everybody in town has the right and the ability to come in front of us. Doesn't matter if there's 2,000 appeals. We don't cut people off. They have the right to come. If they choose not to come, if they think, oh, this is fine, I don't mind this, then to me, that's okay, that's their business. I don't have to worry about them. They chose to keep it.
Right.
The person who comes here and says, this is wrong, and we find out that it is, then okay. But the person who didn't come, I can't help them. I can only help you if you come in front of me.
Yeah, good point.
well, right, so that, I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm just saying that we have to look at the evidence that's been provided to us and make a decision on just that evidence.
We can ask questions to clarify,
Of
but
course, yes. Yeah. And I just want to say also that, these are public documents. So, I mean, someone, wants, is in a bad situation and they feel like that's somehow weighing on their, their decision to come to appeal. That's, what they're telling us, what they're giving us is all public information. So it goes in the file, it's posted online, anyone can look at it, all right?
And that's the hardest thing, I think. I've seen it when I was looking through the appeals. A couple of people have mentioned how old they are, that they're on a fixed income. Those would be considered compassionate appeals, and unfortunately, they're not allowed by the state law. You can't. It's sad because you want to help somebody, and you see, the problem that they're in, but that can't factor into it.
that's handled by
There
the
is something
tax
to do downstairs.
laws.
Right, they have to go down there,
They
they have
can
to go down
go
and
down
see.
and get a relief on their taxes,
Nothing we can do.
not on the
I
value
would have
of
no
their
problem
home.
sending them. If somebody came to me and they really didn't have a case, but except that, like, I'm old, I can't afford this is, but I'm on a fixed income, I probably would suggest that they go see the assessor. Because to me, I think that would be helping them. There's no skin off my nose if they go down there, if they're entitled to a discount, And they don't know.
May
that
be
they can
entitled
get
to a
it.
discount because of your
Yeah,
age
but no, we can't.
and income.
Of course.
I have a friend who is, you know.
You can't go on compassionate appeals. It's just not allowed.
No. And I don't want to get into a discussion of the mill rate versus the grand list with these people.
No, that's not our job. That's not our job. So, yeah, right. You say, you say, please go see the assessor. No, I mean, that is not our, okay?
If there
So,
was a handout we could give that explains it, but I don't want to discuss it.
Explain it.
to me, I think people, if they want to be concerned about the taxes, go to your budget meetings and make your voice heard at budget meetings.
You
And
could say that.
Do you really need turf field? No.
What's that?
No, now, hold on.
Now, hold on about that.
She's complaining about how much money they spend, but I love spending money.
I
The
love spending money.
turf field that they built,
I have no problem
it's
spending money.
beautiful and I love it. The kids are too old now, they're not on it anymore,
Not
but
everybody wants to spend it on the same thing.
so, does anybody have any questions about any of the things right? I mean,
The only thing I've always had this problem. I never talked about it before, but I always had this issue about the 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes. Let me go through all these papers, but then you have 2 minutes. What do you want to tell me? It's a lot to go through, especially when you're new at this and when you're reading it. Oh, let's what's next? Oh, time's up. It's hard. I think there has to be you have to whip through these or allow for 15 minutes from the time they start to talk to you, which then turns out to be a half hour.
yeah.
It's hard.
We can't do that.
It's hard.
We're going to be
Yeah.
probably over 600 appeals.
It sounds like it's 15 minutes in here, but if they have all their evidence, then we're putting in the time
Oh,
after
of
that.
course,
15
yeah.
minutes.
Right.
We're giving them their due time. It sounds like, I've never done it.
Exactly.
It sounds like they're getting more than 15 minutes, just not.
They're getting more than 15 minutes. They're just not getting 15 minutes to discuss what they want to discuss. They're getting 15
Hopefully
minutes
they've given it
to
to
do our
us.
paperwork and discuss what we want to discuss, which really isn't the purpose.
We're gonna make sure we talk about what we want to talk about.
Which we really
mean, I-
shouldn't be talking about what they want to talk about. But if you read these in advance, you probably rip through them.
Right. I mean, you will, when you get your caseload, right, you'll have an opportunity to look through the file
Do we get
first.
specific ones assigned to us, or do we just take
No,
the
you
time
will.
slots that
You'll
we
get it.
came?
Well,
Okay,
they will be assigned based on your
Gotcha.
availability.
Fine.
Yeah,
Some of them
and-
don't, and some of them don't even take 15 minutes. They have nothing to say.
Right.
They'll say, well, it's too high.
Yeah, I can admit.
So there's not much to talk about.
when you come in, assuming it's done the same way, you go to the assessor's office and they'll give you a banker's box and it'll
Yeah.
have all the manila folders
Okay.
with everything in order, and the people just wait in the lobby and you just call or you go down and get them, but there might not be time for that. You might just scream down at the top of the stairs.
You just yell down the stairs. I'm not going down those stairs 100 times.
They'll all come and meet in the lobby and there'll be a bunch of people down there. So you'll just come down, you'll have a list of your attendees in the box when you first get here. And you'll go down at 8:05 and you'll say, I'm looking for so-and-so.
So you holler
Sometimes
out.
they don't come and you're like, oh, thank God.
That's one less-
Because that's how you'll catch up on time, because I'll run over, but you'll catch up if somebody doesn't come.
Sometimes they don't come.
Do I have to,
Hey, Russ.
did they get my full name in writing so that they could?
Sure, you're on the BAA website, so yes.
Yes. Yeah, they had my phone number. This guy called me screaming once, and I was like, I don't know. Furious. And I was telling her this story recently. Well, at the time I was the chair, so it's possible that's how, or it could just be on the website. I don't remember. I didn't mind talking to him because what are we gonna do? But he was enraged.
Just wanted to know.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Peter, I just thought of something. Did you get that email from a woman named Joyce Hergenhan?
I know
Asking
her.
for- I know, Joyce, everybody knows Joyce. Asking for a particular date.
Me neither.
I don't.
The rest of the BAA, I happened to get it. So I thought we all got it. I guess it would have to go to Ross or Ross's department to schedule a particular date for her hearing because she's going to be out of the country.
Joyce needs a date, Ross.
She gave you the
I
date
used to
she's
work with
here.
her.
Should we give her the date?
Give her the date. She's a nice lady.
So, yeah, she's not that nice.
She's nice.
On Zoom.
She's nice.
She's okay.
She's nice.
Just be careful.
She's nice.
She will push.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure, I think it's, her going away is at near the end of March. I don't think it's going to affect it, but just so that
She's
somebody.
always traveling.
Oh, she worked for, you work for GE?
She seems like a lot of work.
Yep.
Character.
Okay, so I invited Ross this is Ross Murray, who is our town assessor and responsible for all this.
What's your last name?
Murray,
Murray.
AY.
Okay.
And so Ross, if you want to just give us a
So
little.
I see you all have handouts. I think that, are those the ones I did for,
No, these are probably a little different than what you have, but I just want to give people a kind of an overview. These are not,
yep,
okay.
so we're coming in fast and furious.
That's what we hear.
What's the number, Ross?
We're up over 400.
That's what I thought.
For
Not
us.
commercial. You know, so did you re-vote on the commercial?
We're going
Not
to.
yet, we're going
Okay,
to.
you're gonna do that, clean that up. So, yeah, there's been, you know, packs of 20 and 30 commercials coming in from the same person, company.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
You know, they do a
Furious.
commercial and they'll just sweep,
Yeah.
get permission and they do 30 at a time. So there's some of that going on.
When is the deadline?
Friday, 4:30.
Close the video, right?
Can't wait.
90 seconds.
Can't be sooner.
So, you know, the backup docs are all scanned and they're on the website as we scan them. You know, we're trying to keep up, but we're not keeping up at the moment, so we're trying. Actually, I think we've had most everything scanned, which, plugging it into the spreadsheet is a little on the slow side. We're trying to keep that up, so.
There were 405 when I left the house tonight.
Yeah, I 417 at 4:30 today was personal property.
Okay.
So we've got a myriad, you know, there's gonna be, you're gonna see it all. There's a few personal property. The one that I took in tonight was, the manufacturing exemption form was not in there. So personal property, if you are a manufacturer, you can exempt your equipment that's associated with manufacturing. This particular one claims they brought it in with the form and she believes we lost it. I can tell you we're very careful with our declarations. The form is actually stapled into the deck when it's delivered to them. It wasn't in the deck. And she said that it wasn't there. She said she had to print it separately. You know, so I don't know. I don't know if that's something you can even act on. You could act if I denied an exemption. I don't believe this is considered a denial. It's just that form wasn't filed. But anyway, I'm getting down into the weeds. Probably have some farms in there.
I love the farms.
A farm.
Me too, I love the farms.
Oh, yeah. So, a little bit of everything out there.
I have a question.
Sure.
If they were approved for a reduction in the informal hearing, does that show up on the field card?
Yes. So I'll hand this out. This is just a pack I made up for everybody. It's got some of the three.
Thank you.
That's one more. Just so you can see the docs that we use and what the process is. So the first one on top is the application.
Yeah.
The highlighted items are state statute mandated, and that includes them putting down what they are requesting as a market, as an adjustment to the market value. Upper right, we stamp everyone in with a unique number, so you'll see that when you look at the website. It'll say, I think, 2025 BAA hyphen 001, 1000, 1500, or whatever we get to.
Does something here give me what the website
Yeah,
is?
you just, yep, it's in there. Just,
It's in
we'll get
this?
there.
It's in this package?
There's information on like links and stuff,
Okay.
so we'll get to that.
Ross,
So
I have a
that-
question.
Yep,
I always, when I never asked this before, on the first section, owner's name, got that, property location, that would be the address, I'm guessing.
yep.
And then property description. What do you want to go there? Like,
You know, it's,
3-bedroom, 2-bath, like that, or?
no, I think.
Single-family home?
No, I think it's either that, like it's a residential property, single-family home, commercial.
Oh, okay.
business property.
Okay.
I'm not, honestly don't know what they were expecting on that. The important thing on here is the name and contact info. That is where we send correspondence to, period. Doesn't matter who the owner is or what the mailing address is, the contact information they put there is where we send all correspondence. So that's pretty important. We do ask for email, and you'll see on the next page is the welcome email. So we do send out an email before we send out the hearing notice. So they kind of go off together. So we'll send that, kind of gives them an overview, and then we send out the notice that tells them the date and the time of their hearing. We still have to mail it by first-class mail, but this way it gets to them quicker because mail around here is notoriously bad. So it frequently doesn't get to people in time. The next knock is the,
Can I just ask you about that, though? The fact that we are emailing people and sending something out, I mean, because I know we're gonna have concern about the fact that, you know, appeals are done Friday, but then we have to get out notices. So is the fact that we're sending emails as well as hard copies enough to be able to schedule someone, you know?
emails don't count. Has to be first-class mail. So we do that because we know the mail might get to them at the edge of the timing.
We're being nice.
But we do get we do, send the mail. I think we have to have it out 7 days prior to the first hearing. So it's pretty short turnaround when we have this volume.
So are you sending them out as you go, or do you send them all out at the end?
No, we're gonna do them all at once.
So they won't go out until that last week in February, the last few days of February?
We will hopefully have them out next week.
Okay. So then technically we'd be able to start
Be
7 days
end of the first week of March.
into the first week of March. That's what I thought.
On my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, who's for 100 hearings. Good luck.
100 hearings.
Well, is there a reason that we're sending them out, have to send them all at once?
Well,
I think it's
we
organized.
wanted to do them by neighborhood. So we would pick, a few members, depending on the volume in each neighborhood. If it's a neighborhood with only a couple of appeals, it might be 2 people. If it's a neighborhood with, 100 appeals, we might have 3 or 4 of you. And that 3 or 4 of you would be the ones that hear that neighborhood. So you would become
see.
sort of mini
I like that.
experts on that neighborhood.
I don't really like that.
That.
That's
I
up
like
to
that a
you
lot.
guys.
I don't like it at all.
I like that a lot.
I don't. What do you know about Greenfield Hill? A lot? Probably not.
When
It's like
you-
I don't know a lot about a certain neighborhood on the other side of town.
But Paula, when we look at or research on one single property, we're looking at comparables in that neighborhood.
Right.
So when we're so ingrained in that neighborhood, we have a really great idea of what that is like. That's a great benefit. And then when we deliberate on the board, we can all have that kind of discussion. Now, do we all need to be an expert in every single neighborhood? Not exactly, but we can all speak to it.
Be nice if you understood the neighborhood you're in.
Of course. and
Let's say Katie's an expert in Greenfield Hill. I'm not.
so
Wouldn't it be nice if it was Katie? But it's random, so it could be me. You may have better knowledge than I do. It'll come out in the hearing, of course, but, it'll come out in the deliberations, but it won't come out in the hearing.
so
I think we should mix them up.
I think we need to stick by neighborhood. I think it would be more efficient to do it that way.
For us, not for the appellate.
There is one exception. I got Peter to agree. I don't want to be doing my condo development. I've been president of the condo. Everybody knows me.
You would probably want to recuse yourself from those hearings.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. So
Right.
you
I
don't
just
even.
told, don't even send them out. I gave them the list of streets.
Yeah,
Don't send me any of those streets.
exactly. So yeah, that's appropriate.
Yeah, because it's really, and they'll be talking about me. Oh, what did she tell you? You know?
And fine, whatever the majority wants. I'll disagree no matter what, because again, every person that comes to us, it's an individual appeal. And yes, we have to use comps in that neighborhood. But I think what's happened in the past is that we got into the habit of, this neighborhood, well, this is what we did over here. No, this one is separate from this one. And I think we lose that individuality when we get stuck with, okay, I'm in this neighborhood now.
And
That's
we,
why I've always argued not to do it that way.
And we could also be like, all right, well, this deliberation, we're going to talk about these neighborhoods, and we can do our own due diligence in those neighborhoods.
As long as we're gonna do that, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I mean,
My
we
question
can
is, are we gonna,
certainly do
we're gonna do
that.
the due diligence, or we're just gonna say, I don't know, if they, I'm not gonna make their case, they gotta figure it out.
That's really the thing. They've got to make their case.
They do.
They have to make their
No matter what
case.
neighborhood they're in.
Remember, if you read the handbook, I'm only going by the handbook. If you read that handbook, it tells you that you use what they bring plus what you know. Well, if you don't know anything, you're no help to them. If you know, then you share the
You
information.
are help to them.
Not if you don't know what you're doing, you know.
We
If you
all.
don't, we all know
That's
what
a
we're
pretty big
doing.
assumption.
I didn't assume it, I just made a statement. Everybody here, I know exactly what they're doing. I just said if you don't know what you're doing, then it's a problem. If you do, then it's not.
That's, you don't have to know what you're doing to be a BAA member.
Right.
That's scary, but okay.
No.
No, but you assume people can learn and comprehend what they're looking at. I mean, you're not appraisers.
Right.
You're reviewing the information and making a judgment based on what's been presented.
I'll just say that if we're gonna lose maybe a week in March or a couple days in early March to do it the particular way, I think maybe we could revisit that. Because if basically when the things go out, they have, 7 days before we can schedule one.
I mean, if possible, maybe we could get one done quick.
I'm just saying, I don't care
Get
about,
that out first.
Yeah.
Fill up the schedule for the first week. and
yeah.
follow up
I
with
appreciate the effort that goes into trying to get neighborhoods for a particular, I don't know that really matters if we're all gonna talk about it anyhow, but that's not a major thing for me. But if we're gonna miss 2 or 3 days because we wanted to do it that way, if we're gonna be inundated with maybe 600 appeals, I don't know.
Oh, Peter, I have a
I think
question.
we can solve that. I think,
Yeah, okay,
I think we can get,
Excuse me. I have a question. Last time we did this, you remember, the last time we had a reval, we ended up going into April, way into April. And somebody has to request that in advance, I think. So I don't know if you want to consider that because, I don't know, if we can get them all done last time, I don't know. Well, I guess we should see how many
we
we're
don't
going
have to do that until March.
Yeah,
Let's do it until March?
Let's
You
do,
could do it at the end of March.
Okay.
So you
let's get
can,
into this and see how we're
It's
getting.
not how it works, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I'm thinking, though. We could still try to do it. I mean, right now, your office knows, that there are groups for a neighborhood, right? So, I mean, even if we don't have to hear all of the neighborhood in that first week, right? We might, those people might hear, 20 appeals.
if we know
in that
we've
first
got
week.
50 slots available in the first week of March, we could pick out a neighborhood or two, get 50 booked and send them.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that buys us time to finish it off.
Yeah. Perfect. That works.
So just let me know. Next doc is our official notification of the hearing date and time.
And I'm sorry, this is all stuff that they get.
Yes. Just want to let you, give
They
you an
have to
idea.
bring it with.
They don't have to bring any of that first two with them. That's just show you what the appellant's getting notified with. The next page is the affidavit. If they're
Ken, before
having,
you move on, it says, in second floor conference room, do they come here and then get redirected to the actual
yeah, well,
room they're gonna?
yeah.
Okay.
We figured out, we've got it. I don't know if Peter talked about where you're going to be, but that's getting set up.
Okay, so they'll just start here and then get
Or we can,
redirected?
decide where they're gonna go. when they
Okay.
First come. Next page is the affidavit. If they're having someone represent them, they have to fill out an affidavit. And we've been having this issue, they have to have the affidavit when they file the appeal. Because they can't file an appeal if they don't have the authority to do that, so. Some of our larger people that are representing many are having that issue. Next one is a doc that we can create and we've used in the past. It's, this was actually created for the last reval when we were recording all the hearings so that we knew when they started. But it gives you a brief summary. It gives the date and time of the hearing, where they're going to be, and who's going to be hearing it. And then you can indicate who actually showed up. by circling the attendees, because they, like in this sample, Greg and Camila are both listed, maybe only Greg shows up, or maybe Greg brings an appraiser with him, so you could write that in. That way we know who is in attendance.
And we fill in the board member.
Yep. And then the board members, I think what we did is we listed all the names.
And circle
I
them in.
think we've either listed all the board members' names and you would just circle who's there, or we had it on the schedule and we dropped them in when we did a mail merge. I forget. Next one is the sworn statement. They have to, swear in unless they're an attorney. If they're an attorney, they do not need to do this. And then we give you a notes page, again, summary of the basics on the top, appeal number in the upper right, and then you can just put notes on that page, and it's got everything, where it belongs.
Can you give me an example of the type of, some things that would be appropriate to note on this? I mean, I don't want to write like crazy.
You're just gonna, if it was me, I'd be documenting the highlights of their points.
Okay.
My house is in poor condition, my windows all need replacement, they're falling out, and
I haven't done any upgrades inside.
and that sort of thing, What are their main points? The two houses on either side of me that are all built the same, both sold for 500, and you've got me at 700. And we're all the same, that sort of thing. So those, just those key points so that you remember when you're presenting back to the board, here's what their key points were.
Okay.
The one question I have about the forms is how come there isn't a section for this is what they're requesting as the assessed value, this is the requested market value? You know how we had that separated out just so there was less confusion?
I think that's on the top of the hearing note page.
Yeah, but it's just saying, it just says ask amount, right? So I wish there was another line item that said ask amount assessed market. So is this assessed value or ask amount?
We do everything in market value.
Yep.
People don't talk in assessed value.
Right. I know.
And we when we do have an application that comes in with assessed value, we will either put a line through it and correct it.
Okay, good.
Because
That's what I was.
it's very confusing to try to go back and forth between the two numbers. Nobody
Right.
thinks, oh, I have $1 million house, but no, my house I have a market value assessed of 700.
Right.
Everyone thinks market value, so we don't even deal with the assessed,
Okay.
with the exception of personal property.
Right. Yeah.
So just a brief overview on personal property. Personal property is on a depreciation schedule from the original cost, original installed cost. Not the original installed cost of when you bought it, but when it was originally purchased. So if you buy something used, it technically should go back to the original cost. So if you buy a 5-year-old piece of machinery, it's not your cost, it's the original. So it should be depreciate from there down on a schedule. So it depreciates, and then we take 70% of that depreciated value to come up with the assessment. So on personal property, we do talk in assessment because original cost doesn't really mean a lot.
Right.
Depreciated value is still, you gotta sum all your depreciated values up because there's if you've got, we depreciate over 7 years, so you could have several items in different lines. So it's a little different. They won't be that hard because they're not usually appealing a piece. They might say that we estimate. If they don't file, they estimate. And they might say, well, here's my deck, it should be this. So you're likely just to accept the deck that they now present. So if they didn't file, they should absolutely present a filed declaration.
A deck is a personal property.
Personal property declaration.
Didn't realize.
And I could, if you want, I can go grab one, but you don't have that many of them. So I don't think we really want to get down into the weeds of personal property.
Okay.
What we'll try to do, I think maybe is get those out of the way right up front. And then,
As we did last time, worked out well.
yeah, just,
Do them all at
I think we have maybe 3 or 4 of them right now, so we can bring those up. You can get those done, and then they're
What
gone.
else would be personal property?
Well, so we tax three different things. We tax real estate, of course, cars, and business personal property. So it's only for businesses. So like if this was your office, you'd have to declare the TV, the table, the chairs, the camera,
Yes.
and the leasehold improvements, which would be the carpeting,
Yep.
the walls, maybe the lighting and the drop ceiling. Those are leasehold
But we're
improvements.
not going to deal with cars.
No.
Now.
Well, you could, but cars now, because they've
They've
changed, it's on MSRP, there's really not much they can appeal other than you've got the MSRP wrong, and that's. It's not likely.
They're not going to get very far with that.
No, I mean,
And it wouldn't be in March. I thought that was September
It
anyway.
is September.
Cars.
they can still appeal a car in March. It's just that typically they have the September meeting because they don't get a notice of a change in value on a car. The
Until-
bill is their notice.
Okay.
So because the bill is their notice, they give them the September meeting just for cars. But some people, like if you had a supplemental bill, some people do tend to trickle in. I don't think we have any cars right now.
Okay. But for personal property, sometimes you'll have business will come in and be like, oh, we got rid of those two
I
computers.
can understand
Yeah,
for
it's just
businesses.
very-
I was thinking.
Oh, no, it's all it is.
So the homeowner is.
No homeowner, no.
The deck isn't a personal property.
Has nothing to do with homeowners.
Separate.
It's
It only
only
has to do
business.
with if you have a business.
Now I get it.
So I'll tell you what, maybe my second year doing it, Flipside came in to appeal and they brought all this stuff, and I'm of course not saying anything. They brought all this information about how they made all these improvements to the space and how it's like the landlord's responsibility. And I thought, oh no, like you just made this so easy. And then they had that look on their face of like, because literally we bought all these tables, we bought all these chairs, we redid the ceiling, we did the walls. And I was like, okay, and just like kept letting them speak. But that is essentially just saying, and right, and now you pay taxes on it. And they didn't understand that when they, modified out the space. And then they tried to backtrack and be like, no, what could you say? You just spent 20 minutes telling me you paid for all of it.
Leaseholds are very difficult. If you've ever watched a space turnover,
Yeah.
it becomes a white box typically. So that's what we call it. The white box is what the real estate owner owns. Everything that the business does inside of there is a leasehold improvement.
I used to do leasehold accounting.
So it's
So I understand that.
it struggles because it gets
Messy.
I always use the pizza joint as an example. One guy goes out, somebody else comes in, he just takes over the space with everything there. Well, now whose improvements are those? The landlord is now renting a completed space, not a space that's been improved by a tenant. So it's
That gets
awful.
tricky.
Yeah.
It can really get awful. Hearing checklist, sorry I didn't review this. Sure the appellant's authorized. Owner or new owner since October 1st. Tenant with a recorded lease indicating the tenant is to pay the taxes. So tenants can appeal. And authorized agent must be authorized by the owner. Swear in the representative unless they're a lawyer. And that's the swear-in. Ensure all documents supplied at the hearing are placed in the file. So I think I'm gonna make up a transmittal sheet so that any new docs that come in, you can bind separately so that we can scan those and get them into the scan file. That's one of the hardest thing is all the docs that come in after the fact. It's tough to keep up with that and make sure that those get in. So I think what I'll do is come up with transmittal, you can paper clip them or binder clip them together, and then we'll know that group needs to get scanned. The Wi-Fi is there with the password, so if you've got a device that you want to connect, you can. List of the neighborhoods.
These are all the neighborhoods.
These are
Did you change them from last year?
Nope.
Last time, rather?
No significant changes.
I do have a question, though. I don't think I ever asked you this. Why is the university split from east of North Benson? It's the same thing. Why should Wormwood Road be less valuable than Lawrence Road?
I don't know specifically. I mean, it's been like that for long before I got here.
I don't remember that, but I believe you if you say so.
I mean, the last reval, we subdivided 4 neighborhoods. But that was it, and there's really no, they basically stayed the
There's a
same.
difference between,
I don't think there's a difference in there's a difference in maybe the sale price of the houses.
yeah.
But nowadays, really not. But,
maybe.
you know, I don't know that there's a difference in, like, the way the.
I wanna say that
For the land.
the adjustment for those two neighborhoods is,
It's not much.
it's very nominal
just wondered.
right now.
Well, let me say it this way, then maybe here's one example. Deer Park and Woods End Road, very different. Deer Park is east of North Benson. Woods End is University area. That's more like Lincoln Park.
Yeah, but that's like those
One
like
little
two
section.
streets are major exceptions.
These codes will be assigned.
That's just, in case you're looking at something with a neighborhood code,
That's what I mean.
it just helps you.
It's gonna have been, it's
They
gonna have been previously.
Honest, they weren't all named when I got here. Sometimes they're just a number. So I tried to put names on that kind of reflected where they are.
Right. What's Ridge?
Ridge is its own
The
development.
ridge up by,
The ridge.
Patterson, like north of, across that highway. You couldn't pay me to live there.
That's a planned unit
It's
development.
it's so tacky, but.
It's a beautiful clubhouse. You ever been in it? I wouldn't live there either, but just saying the clubhouse is nice.
I mean, I get the idea, but like, I don't understand in our town, like, to me, it's like a Virginia thing.
So on our website, which I will show you where you can look for this, is the BA handbook.
They all have,
You'll have copies, okay. So I just made up some items that I honed in on that I think you should take a look at. So you can do that at your leisure.
Plus, I have a couple of questions too. Refresh my memory, because I don't remember. Site index.
What is it?
Site index on the field card. What is that? Number 5 for most of them.
It's all 5, every single parcel. The only thing that's not 5 are when the land value is on override, which is normally excess land, or it's a commercial property. So there's no more 4s, no more 6s, they're gone.
Okay, so everything's a 5 pretty much.
We eliminated all of them this time. So they're-
And then on the, I think it's on the field.
When we
card.
get to the field card,
Oh, when you get to this, okay.
there's a field card that we'll go through.
Is that where the grade is too?
I don't know where
Yep.
you're talking.
Okay, then I'll wait.
So you can go to our webpage, there's an appeals page that's got most all of what we're talking about and more. There's a BAA page, and then down at the bottom are the quick links. And one of them is the appeal files for the current year, so you can go and see them. The way we have our scanner set up, which is pretty neat, is just as soon as we scan, it goes right to the website. So if you go in there as we're doing, you'll see the name come up with some random number, and then we rename it and that updates.
This
So
is the way you did it this time is much easier to get in there. Last time was a whole rigmarole to get into those things. This is so much easier.
it's been like that.
Last time it wasn't. It was harder to get to that. But it was really easy. I was in it yesterday and today.
So
there's
how
also-
far in advance of our meeting time with someone will we be able to access?
These are all available right now.
access it right now.
But you won't know which ones you're hearing.
I
You have to
understand.
read them all.
Yeah, I mean, we've had 470 come in, we've probably got 400 scanned already.
I can confidently say I won't be.
So but I'll know which ones are which date.
No.
No.
They're
That's
in
the
there
thing.
by their sequential number.
Okay.
So once we get the spreadsheet finished, then we will publish the spreadsheet so that you can see who belongs to each number, and then that spreadsheet will have the scheduling, it'll have the decision. We use it for the whole process. But it'll have the date and the time and who's hearing it.
So we will know in advance what we're hearing or no?
It'll be in the spreadsheet.
So I would know like on Monday, if I'm coming in on a Wednesday, I might know on Monday, these are the appeals I'm gonna be hearing. I guess is what I'm
You can
asking.
look into the spreadsheet, yeah, that'll be the goal.
Okay.
I can't promise it'll be day one,
Okay.
because, the first goal is to get everybody notified, and then we'll see if we can get that out there. We will get that out there. A lot of this information is in the folder that has the current year appeals. There's a new member package. Most of what I've given and a bit more is there, so we can poke around in there. And then finally, we have a field card. So the upper left is the current owner. And then just below that, the record of ownership, that'll just show the, transfers that we have since the software went in. So you may see one, you may see two, you may see this filled up. Just depends on how often the property is transferred. It'll have the sale date, it'll have the sale price, and then the QU column is whether it is considered a qualified sale or an unqualified. So, and then if you
What's
look
that
over a little further, you'll see VC.
For example, this went into an estate trust, so you couldn't say, oh, it transferred at zero, I shouldn't have to pay anything, and that's why the U is there to say, like, that wasn't like an arm's length transaction.
U is unqualified. So what might make a sale unqualified? If it's a foreclosure sale, now, there's two different types of qualifying. Qualifying for a reval and what we use to look at can be different than what is qualified on here, because this is done for state reporting. So we have to report all our sales to the state. The state takes those and develops an equalized net grand list every year. That is used to determine payments to towns. So they equalize the grand list every year based on qualified sales. Now, if a home has made improvements and sold since the prior October 1st, it is unqualified because they can't judge whether that's gone up in value because of the sale or changed in value, I should say, or because of the improvements. So for state reporting, it is unqualified, and we will have to report that here. If somebody buys a house to flip, and they buy that after October 1st and sell it before the next October 1st, I believe we have two good sales. We have a sale of an unimproved house, and then we have a sale of an improved house that's been cleaned up and, refreshed. So I think, for me, that's two good sales that represent two different types of houses.
Doesn't sound to me like this is something I need to be concerned with.
Well, you're going to be looking, you may have people putting comps in, and they may be pointing to the, an unqualified sale. So it's and if you have questions, certainly ask, and I can try to tell you why it's listed as
That's really
unqualified.
the only situation? Okay.
I have a question. A house sold by a reload company, purchased by an individual homeowner. I had trouble with that, with this board years ago, with somebody who purchased a home through a corporate company. And they were told that it wasn't a qualified sale.
Frequently, those aren't qualified.
Why?
Because the reload company may have held that house for a period of time, and they're making their money from the business that's reloading a person. Sometimes that house can sit in their portfolio under the old owner's name for a period of time, and then when they are ready to sell it, they may just get rid of it. They don't want to hold the house. They're just going to get rid of it. So that could be a low sale. They're not necessarily marketing it for maximum value.
That's not always the case. That sometimes
You have to know that. That's the key.
And you'll never know.
You'll know by the sale price. If the sale price fits in with what the comps are, then then it should be a qualified sale. If it's sold for 500 and everything else sold for $1 million, well, there's something wrong there.
But it may not be that clear cut.
So,
So I'm just saying, it's not cut and dry. I can't tell you that every single one of these is going to be a bad sale. You have to know the particulars. Did that reload company market that house?
so if we knew that information, then we could consider that.
Yes.
If I knew that they had marketed it, if they had tried to sell it for a much higher price over and over again and couldn't, they finally dropped it to what was reasonable at the time, then I would say that was a qualified sale.
Right. But the definition of a valid sale is willing buyer, willing seller without undue influence.
Right.
So I'm not looking to get out of my house quickly. I don't need to purchase something because I'm desperate. Those are things that influence the sale price. We don't always know that either.
You can say that about any house. I mean, I could want to sell my house, and I can't sell it for a while because I'm asking too much money. And then it gets to the point where I need to get out. So I'm going to sell it for less, although it doesn't really matter as long as it matches what other houses like that are selling for.
That's right.
I guess is what I'm saying. If it fits the comps, if the comps fit it, then it should be a qualified sale because it matches the comps.
Yeah, not if there's undue influence in the sale. I would disagree.
Are we getting into the hypotheticals now?
We are. Yeah, let's get
We're
through.
getting into the truth, but we'll just put it off for you.
We could talk about bank sales, foreclosure sales. Typically, we don't look at foreclosure sales, but if you're in a market where there's so many of them, they become the market.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like people say, well, I overpaid for my house. Well, yeah, you and everybody else.
Right.
That's now the market. Anyway, so, let me see if I can do it this way. So in this section here is we have 3 assessment history items. So the one to the far right, it says 2024, is the 2024 grand list value prior to the reval. The one in the middle that says the first 2025 is an interim save. So this was the save that was created when the first round of notices went out in December. So we locked that number in. And then the last one is the grand list value. So if there's a difference, something happened between
Last
them.
one is which one?
Right, so this is the 2024 grand list prior to the revaluation.
Okay,
The 483.7 in the middle is the interim save.
okay.
And then the one to the left is the final save. So you might see some that went down, you might see some that went up. There are,
In this case, the interim and the final were the same, right?
yeah, so this had no change. So,
But this is where you'll see the informal.
I'm sorry?
This is where you would see an informal.
Yeah, and there's another place too, but I'll point that out. So people got a second notice if they came in for an informal. Every one of those people got a notice. And then anyone that had a change in value for any reason got a notice. So not everyone that came in for an informal, not everybody that had a change in value came for an informal. For instance, historic homes. As we were going through the process, we realized that historic homes were too high north of 95. When you got south down into this area of town and Southport and Sasko Hill, they were fine. But the ones north were just too high. So we brought all those down. So
Because the
all
market was really the same as the
Well-
current homes, the way they were selling.
the land values were okay, but but we had to bring those historic homes. They were just coming in too high. So we brought all those down. So, I don't know, 300 and something houses got decreases from that.
So not everybody's went up.
Well, they still went up in value from 24. They just
But not
didn't
as
go up
much.
as much. Right. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that went down. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
the market's been what it
There's
is for the
definitely-
past, but it's just been crazy.
Okay.
So in this notes section, you'll find notes in there. Some of them could be very old.
Are these people coming?
No, I don't know.
This
No.
is just you just pulled
This
this one?
this is the field card I pull up almost every day. It's
Okay.
PID 111.
Okay.
So when I go in and I need to just start the system up and get the GIS running, 111, boom. I tried to pull up
That is
town hall, but it's got
huge
2
jump.
cards, so it's too much. It was too many.
The notes are
We do not
thin.
use exemptions. We do not use other assessments. Not anything we use in Fairfield. So those are always going to be blank. We don't really use assessing neighborhood. I mean, Vision can handle municipalities that are 250,000 parcels. And that's when you get into assessing sub-neighborhoods and site indexes and all this stuff. But I've tried to simplify the card because we think ourselves as a big town, but in reality, we're not. 20,000 is not big in the grand scheme of assessing. So we tried to simplify the card a bit.
It's not here.
So you can see there's some notes, like in this one, IG would be, in good condition. That's a really old note from a long time ago.
I'm sorry, can I just go back to that neighborhood section real quick? Is there a reason why you only put the number and not the name? Like what, like, am I gonna have to keep going back to my like Dakota ring?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I know.
That
See how
seems like
much
a
is on
quick
there?
merge, that seems like a quick merge as well.
There's just not enough room for everything. That's
Okay, fine,
And we don't, like I said, you'll see neighborhood somewhere else and we don't really use that line.
fair.
So notes, again, some of these could be really old notes, and there are newer things there. We don't clean them out unless we happen to be in there working on a card for a particular reason.
How many of these properties has Vision actually entered? What's the likelihood that they've been in the
Well,
properties?
Tyler did the reval this
Or
time.
Tyler, okay.
And let's come back to that.
Okay.
We'll talk about kind of how the philosophy of the reval. The right-hand column, the appraised value summary, not a box I use much. I mean, this is kind of information is elsewhere on the card. So I personally don't even look at that very often. Back to the left, you have building permit record. So this is where you'll see what they've done over the years, and it'll give you the date and whether it's complete.
Assuming they got a permit.
Right, and comments about what they did.
Faith in your.
Well, excuse me. That was an interesting comment, assuming they got a permit. You know how you fly those planes around to spy on people? Is that on here?
Yeah, wait till I have the police help me out. 'Cause they have drones now. And they-
Okay, that's what they're doing.
Did you see the video of the dog they're training? Not to pull out focus. They have like a bloodhound and they put him into, I guess, the Gap, and they had someone hiding in the. He's such a baby, and he's like trying to find the murderer.
So does that end up on here, or you have to have a permit to have it on here? Like, for example, if you flew over a house and you saw that they had a patio that wasn't on here.
And then, probably in the visit history, you'd see that, so.
If they
that's
walk
not a-
around the
only
property,
building
they might
permits.
put it
Only
down.
building permits go in the building permits.
Okay.
Visit history is where you'll see, it's not always a visit to the property, it could be other changes that were made. So that's usual, data mailers, you'll see are in there, informals will be in there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So you'll see a lot of that, should be documented there. Tyler was really good about documenting. They had 1,900 scheduled informals and probably 200 or 300 walk-ins, emails that they also handled. So they went above and beyond, and
Oh, good.
they looked at every single one of those. So they might have missed a few in the documentation process, but they're pretty good. They had a good staff. The next line down is the land line, and I'm going to walk you across that. Use code and description are the same thing. They're associated. So we can fit the name on that one. So typically you're going to be seeing single family or two family there. Zone is a reference to the zoning. It does not drive value. It is a reference. Land units is the size in square feet. In Fairfield, we use a 2-acre base for all properties throughout the town. Anything over 2 acres would fall onto a second line. The first line is always in square feet. The second line is almost always in acreage. Unit price is calculated based on the base land value and all the other adjustments that we'll walk across. Site index, as I mentioned, that's been eliminated. It's all 5. It's a multiplier of 1, so it does nothing. Condition. Condition is where you'll see adjustments for things that are not normal for the neighborhood. Topography, unusual lot shape. You might see it if if they're next door to a gas station, they might have a commercial influence, they might have an adjustment. Those sorts of economic influences that are unique to that house that aren't common for the neighborhood.
Wetland.
Well, wetland, when you've got to realize almost everybody's got a wetland problem in Fairfield. So it's got to be unique to the neighborhood, like to the point where you don't see that in the comps before you'd want to make an adjustment. The new conservation officer is not as strict about what you do in those conserved areas as the prior one was. So when you hear, I can't do anything with that land, it's not always entirely true any longer. And two things. Most people don't develop their entire parcel with improvements. And even the conservation or wetland areas counts towards your coverage ratio. So even though you have wetlands that you may not be able to fully utilize, it does allow you to build a house that's bigger than somebody that didn't have that wetland.
Run that by me again? Yeah.
It's coverage rate. So you have a coverage ratio. How much impervious area can you cover your lot with?
Yeah.
So if you have a half acre, and I don't know the numbers off my head, but you can say you can put a 2,000 square foot footprint.
Yeah.
But if you have 1 acre, you can do 4,000.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a half acre and another half acre that's swamp, you still have an acre. You can still build that 4,000 square foot house. So it doesn't have no value. It has value because it allows you to build more house.
Right.
You see this with the beach.
Right.
They use the creek side and the beach side to combine to be able to build larger homes.
If we had money here.
So, think about, let's talk about the land curve, everyone's favorite topic.
I just want to point out, though, that the state statute, I forgot which one it is, I wrote it down somewhere, talks about wetlands and wetland buffers or setbacks or in upland review, whatever the town wants to call it. It says that that area needs to be considered the same value as the wetland area, which would be less than a lot that doesn't have wetland.
We don't have a wetland value. There is no wetland value that
Well, the state says you do.
It has to be the same.
Right, it has to be the same. So that means nobody gets a break.
There is no wetlands, I don't know what that's, I would suspect that particular statute was passed by a legislator that had somebody he was trying to please. And quite honestly, a lot of statutes are like that. They will pass things for individuals. Let's go back to personal property for a quick second. Do you know that paint mixing stations in Home Depot are considered manufacturing and exempt?
That makes sense. I like that.
Why?
They're not manufacturing anything. They're
Yeah.
mixing paint. But there was a hardware store owner who had a friend that was a legislator, and he passed it. And he even said to an assessor, because they were trying to tax a piece of the equipment, like the shakers and not just the mixing, he goes, well, if you try to tax it, I'll just go back and get it changed.
Yeah,
So,
it was clear.
sometimes when you read these statutes, they don't make sense. Like that statute doesn't make any sense.
I understand you might think it makes sense. I understand it. To me, it makes sense that if I had a house that had wetlands on the property and they encompassed where the house is, and it would prevent me from doing what I want to do to that house. And even though you said
There may be impact,
there's
absolutely.
impact, so that impact costs money because the builder looking at that doesn't look at it the same way he does a lot that's dry. So I guess that's what I'm thinking about. So that it can't be the same value because they would pay more for a dry lot than they would for a wet lot, say.
Getting into the weeds here.
And
I don't think it's the
what
weeds,
is
it's
that-
actually,
and what is
it's gonna
that
come
number?
up.
Yeah.
What is that number?
Get prepared, it's coming up. Read it, read it.
I have a question in this
It'll come.
Pain in my ass.
use code and the description. How many different descriptions are there to choose from? Single family,
A lot.
just start
75 to 100.
So you've got 2-family, 5-family.
3-family,
Condo. which
4
one?
condo, waterfront condo, waterfront, in-law, multi-house, and then you get into commercial and industrial. There's just
Okay, I
there's
just
a
wanted,
lot. There's
I
a
wanted
lot.
a sense.
It's not critical for what you're doing, but
No.
you can look at it and say, if you're, most of what you're going to see is going to be single family. I'm sure you'll see some multis in here
And some condos.
and some condos, yes, yep.
You'll see
Singles and
multiple.
condos will be your predominant.
So I just wanted, because we are
I know.
towards our, and,
I guess-
state end time, so, all right, I just wanted, I would, if you have more to go on this, then please do, right?
I'd like to get through the car.
Yeah, yeah.
So, land curve. And this ties into cost per square foot on a building. These are not linear. So the value of land doesn't rise as a straight line. And my example is, if you have a half acre lot and a 0.99 acre lot, side by side, same utility to the land, and you're in a half acre zone, you have one building lot each. The 0.99 can't be subdivided. So the 0.99 won't be worth twice as much as the 0.5 acre lot. And vice versa, the 0.5 isn't worth half. The 99 will be worth more, but it's not double. So, and I talk about, and same with a house. If you have 1,000 square foot ranch and a 2,000 square foot colonial with the same, both with 1,000 square foot footprint, and they're similar construction quality, it's not gonna, this price per square foot is gonna be less for the colonial because adding that 1,000 square feet just involves 4 walls. You still have one foundation and one roof. So a lot of times you'll see people do cost per square foot of land, cost per square foot of building, and they'll take all the large houses and compare it to their house, which is smaller, and say, oh, look at that, I'm way out of whack. But you gotta be aware that that cost line and the land line does not rise in a linear fashion.
And it isn't market value, which is what we're being assessed on.
That's exactly right, it's not market value. And I do try to preach that to people when they come in. You're appealing this total.
Right.
It doesn't matter what the split is. You're
Right.
appealing that. What's my market value?
What
What can I
people
sell that
gonna
house for?
pay? Yeah.
And honestly, I find that if people can't find comps, then they start going down the price per square foot road.
I got it.
The other place you'll see adjustments for land is under location. So location is where we would differentiate different parts of a neighborhood. Sunnyside, Sunny Home. I don't know if you're familiar with Sunny Home.
Near the beach?
It's over here, it's right over here.
Yeah, Sunny Home, yeah.
It's a circular, it's almost, I don't know if you call it a cul-de-sac, it was a circular thing, they got an island down the middle and very nice homes on there. Not typical for the rest of this neighborhood. So they have a special adjustment to bring that neighborhood value up just for that area. So you'll see those, and all the site indexes were converted to special codes. So now they're very visible on the card.
Okay.
What's that new classification you have for like a colonial that's been raised?
Expanded.
Expanded colonial. And that puts them at a different, does that make it a different value or what?
Is that going to show up on here?
You'll see it on the backside when we get there. So that's like, you know, if you pick
More.
60s, 70s colonial, that, you know, was a nice couple of rectangles. And now somebody has, you know, changed it and pushed out the back and the roof lines are different. Well, it's not a new colonial, but it's not the same as an old one any longer. And though they weren't coming out right, so we created this expanded colonial classification for those.
Is that every house that's been expanded or just colonials?
It should be expanded colonials. We didn't do it for capes or ranches,
Just colonials.
just colonials. We really don't have enough capes to warrant doing that. I mean, there are definitely expanded capes that we could have used a code for, but there's just not enough of them to do that. So on the backside, upper left, this is where we get into the structure. So style, the grade. We've added grades. So 3 used to be average. Let's see. So they all have letter codes now where they didn't have that in the past. And we moved average up to a 5. That gives us more room on the lower end. We used to only have 2 steps below average. And we are finding that there's houses that are just needed to go down further and we didn't have the room to do that. So average went up.
In this condition, a 5 is average.
5 is average, right? And you'll see a C for that. And it goes up and down from a C. Story height, occupancy, it'll tell you the general construction of the house, interior, the exterior, the roof, walls, floors, the heat, the bedrooms, bathrooms, total rooms, kitchen style. These all affect value, but they're not, none of them will be a huge mover of value. Grade is probably that has the most impact on value. But, if you go from drywall to plaster, or even drywall to paneling, it's going to change the value, but it's not going to make, 30% difference. If you look at construction detail and condo data, there's not really, there are, in condos, there are sometimes adjustments for the floor or the unit. It's labeled floor and unit here. Sometimes we actually label them differently. It could be front, rear, left, right. It could be an entrance unit, or it could be a lower unit. Depends on what's been used. So condos will have some specific adjustments. And then in the cost and market valuation, kind of in the center, you have your year built, you have your depreciation code, the depreciation percent. You might see functional external obsolescence. If you've got a very old house that's got some functional issues, you might have taken an adjustment there. External would be something external, like gas station next door. Below that is the outbuildings and extra features. Extra features are part of the house. They might be I'm blanking on what a good extra feature would be.
About
A fireplace, right there, fireplace. You'll see that B is an extra feature, L is like a generator would be an outbuilding, or not detached garage.
Can I ask you, sorry, going back to the external obsolescence. I know you said like a gas station or something. I know there's a lot of buzz about all these new apartments coming up, like there's the one that they just built on Beach Road that seems to be right next to the historic district. Like, does that count? Is there like a discount? Or people like now?
If we see houses not selling for.
Okay, I'm just.
We really want to see market data that actually has an effect. People don't like it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I envision people coming in saying, this new development's coming in and I should get a discount for that. I don't know.
Don't get it automatically.
Now, you two might remember about 2 years ago, I think I gave to you what's called a paired sales analysis for power lines.
Okay.
So we had power lines up by Aquarian, up by the reservoir. There were some more modest homes. I found some that were next to the power lines, one actually backed up to the substation. And I found very, very similar homes that were not affected. And then I found some, as you go follow the power lines around the corner, some larger homes, and looked at those as well. Those comps weren't quite as good there, but the smaller ones were good. Found the difference to be about 10 to 12%.
But is this where we would see something like that adjustment?
But that was the adjustment for somebody having the substation or having the tower run right through their side yard.
Okay.
So,
Not
most
just
people
that they
think
could
that
see it.
Right.
It had to be
Right.
through there.
I mean, if you like, I can probably dig that up and
No, that's
share.
fine. That's fine.
But I mean, it wasn't what people would think logically, oh, it's gonna be, 50% off or something because it's there, but it was really a lot less than I even expected.
But what we don't know is how many of those homes didn't sell.
What, how many?
What we don't know is, or how many of those homes, like you said, you can see that there was maybe a 10% difference in the sales. But what you don't know is how many homes that had that issue didn't sell. We need to look that up. For example,
Wouldn't they have come to appeal that then and say?
some of them did.
Well,
Well, they couldn't
these
sell.
weren't anything to do with appeals. These were, I looked.
No, no, I understand
I
what
looked
you're
for
saying.
sales.
Yeah.
So does everybody get what a paired sale is? You find two properties that are very similar with one difference, and that difference I was looking for was power lines, no power lines.
And they had sold.
And they had
Well,
sold.
wait a second.
So
He
there were
found some
sales.
that sold, but what we don't know is how many others didn't sell because of the power lines. We only know that, okay, some of them sold, we don't know what didn't sell. And we'll never know.
They all sold, Paul.
I was just gonna say, they also,
Somebody's living in them and somebody bought them, and so they've all been sold at some point.
So you checked and you saw that none of them expired and none of them went off the.
None of them were built and never occupied.
people wanna live in this town, they will buy property
I
with the
mean,
good schools and.
and, you know, what I saw in that analysis was 10% was the threshold.
Okay,
So, you know, people live in them. They buy them.
I have a question. If somebody comes and has a property that's just like one down the street, you know, 2 houses down the street, but I haven't made the same kind of improvements inside. I haven't put in a fancy kitchen and an extra bathroom, finished off the basement like the one 2 houses down.
Hopefully we know about that.
But does that make that much of a difference really in this town? Because that's replacement costs of the house. This town is.
My question is, what do I say to this person?
Oh, right.
the person who says they didn't do it, they didn't.
Yeah, I didn't do it. I've
On the
still got
picture.
the original bathroom and kitchen and, two houses down the street, it's the same house and they've done all this work and I went and looked at the files and mine's almost the same market value.
I think it's a case by case.
But what do I say?
When you're sitting with somebody, I would
Well, you
ask
never give
you,
them an indication, really.
Right, you don't
ask you to be
What do I say?
extremely careful not to agree with somebody,
Right?
because you're not making the decision, everybody is. And if you, I have this happen, if you give them an indication and they think that you're agreeing with them and that you're gonna reduce it, then if something doesn't happen or it's not enough, they're on my counter.
Do I tell them that, if you wish to press this forward, it can go to the next level of.
You're going to say that.
The next
You're going to
level.
say that. You are going to say that anyway at the end. If you're unhappy with the result of your appeal, you can
That's
take it
really
further.
all I do with it.
But as Paulette said, you can ask them to provide pictures if they feel like,
You could provide data if you've
They should
got
document the,
anything you could document.
And then you'd come in here and you'd show them to us, and everybody would probably discuss, decide what, I can tell you what the realtors would say. They'd look at it, if it really isn't updated, and the other one is, and if the other one sold, we can look it up online and see it, then we'd say, well, it can't be the same value. Because it can't. It won't sell for the
I
same.
just wanted a little help with how I deal with it. That's all.
Just don't say anything.
Yeah, you shouldn't be saying anything.
thing is,
Well, other than
Thank you.
continue your appeal
Take
to
it.
the
these
next
older,
level.
smaller, and especially down in this area, the smaller, more modest homes are tear downs. So it's, you'll see some values on buildings that are really low.
Yeah.
And so if you have a house in a flood zone and you want to make improvements, you can only make 50% of the value of the market value of the improvements to the home. So if your building is worth 50,000, you can only put 25,000 into it. So we have a lot of people coming in wanting to raise that number. And what we found in this reval is I use Marshall and Swift, and I was using that before the reval to help come up with a cost approach. What we found is that the cost approach is not matching the market. The market value of that house is not what the cost to replace it, even exactly what's there.
Right.
So, and I was hoping that, we should match Marshall Swift. Here's a national company. We should be in line with that, but we couldn't do it.
Right.
And it's because they're not going to pay that. They're buying land,
Right.
and that house has got nominal value.
I get it.
Up in the upper right, you have a sketch of the house. So in areas you'll look at are living area is the BAS, the first floor, and then, down in the lower left is a description of all the codes and the square footage associated with them.
BAS is not basement, it's first floor?
It's first floor.
Okay.
So it's all there in that lower right. So just something to know, we measure from the exterior only. We don't measure the interior of the house. We don't take out for staircases and those sorts of things. Upper floors that may be impaired by a roof line are usually going to be 3/4 or a half story. You know, it's not perfect, but it treats all houses the same. So you might see 3/4 story, which is TQS, or FHS is finished half story, so that's probably, you know, that's a dormered cape typically, so the back half is full, the front is got roof line coming into the living area. And then we have a picture.
So if we have a scenario where we're like, which would be rare, but like if we have someone who's like, we want to do a what if, like if we change this on the field card, could we ask you to reevaluate that what if scenario?
Absolutely.
So we can still do, okay.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you.
No.
Like if, say for example, like they, so when they come up with our assessed value, right? And we're evaluating whether that should be approved or not. And they're like, well, we removed an in-ground swimming pool, for example. I'm just using this for an example, right? So then I can go to Ross and be like, all right, if I removed this, what would be the new assessed value on this based off of that one change? It might not match what they're requesting, right? So it could be a partial approval, or it could be the full, depending on what that is. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah.
I got a few more minutes. I'll run through kind of some of the things we did in the reval and why. So this was a full reval. It required verification of the house and the elements of it. Typically, that's done through a physical site inspection, very costly to do that, and entry rates are dismal. They're probably in the 5% range. So I felt that it's not necessary to try to do that, to get into 5% of the homes. It almost becomes unfair to the 5% that let you in. So we went the alternate route, which was to use data mailers. We did 3 rounds of data mailers to the town. We got our return rate up, I think it was over 85%, which was really good. So anybody that did not return a data mailer, we did attempt an inspection. So that 15%, they went out on and tried to visit that house and.
I'm not proud to say I was one of those.
What's that?
Someone came knocking at my door because I didn't hand in my mail.
Did you let him in?
There's other people.
yours?
Did you let him in?
No, I did not.
So we did inspect sales, any property that was sold, we went out and inspected those. And we did 2% of the return data mailers for quality control. So those are the group that got an inspection.
I have a question. Why did you go into the ones that sold?
Because those are the houses that are being used to develop the pricing model. They're the most important. to have
People
to-
let you in?
Some do, some don't.
Ross, did you go back?
But we have, you know, we use the listing services too to pull
To look,
up
yeah.
pictures and, you know, you get a,
They cheat and go.
there's a lot more data online. The other thing we did is we had an aerial flight in 2024 through the MetroCog. And I was able to do what's called sketch inspect. They took our sketches, overlaid them onto the aerial and highlighted discrepancies. And we then went through and looked at probably 4,000 properties with discrepancies. It was minimal. I mean, I think we found 1 or 2 what I would call significant, you know, like we missed an entire section of a house, 1 or 2. Most of it was pools, patios, decks, outbuilding, detached garage. That was the bulk of the stuff. So that was done.
Were there a lot of adjustments made from that?
Yeah, we made adjustments in the system for that.
Okay.
We made them, we did not add them on during the prior grant this year. We let them flow through to the reval.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we didn't We didn't like send out certificates of correction and fix them. So that was done. So data was good. We did street level imagery at a resolution that meets the International Association of Assessing Officers, the IAAO's standard. And it included LiDAR, which allows you to measure. So we could measure from the street level images, or we could measure from the aerials, because the aerials were at a resolution where you can measure. We have multiple ways to measure a property without visiting it. So that was our data collection routine. And that's, that's what we, I'm sorry, I'm getting late and.
Yeah, I want to get going. Got somebody waiting for me. So-
And so so we take the sold properties and we develop the pricing model, what each attribute and how that's going to affect everyone else. So that's what we build the model from. So we test that, we look at the different ratios, sales ratio, we look at statistical measures of coefficient of dispersion, price-related differential, to look at these. And we look at each different type of property. We look at different neighborhoods. And we try to get all of those to work so that they're producing good results individually and stratified, so that when you put it all together, it comes out as a whole. The state only cares about the whole. We look at like all these different things, so by neighborhood, by style, by size.
Because you're trying to be fair.
We're trying to. That's the goal.
The state doesn't care.
So,
Sorry, I'm just joking.
it's
What's
never
that?
perfect.
My throat.
When you look at sales ratios, which is what a house sold for and what we came into the value at, you're gonna find ones that are low, you're gonna find ones that are high. But you cannot account for every one of those. There's always going to be outliers in the but in fact, I personally and many consider if the line is too tight, you have chased your sales and you have altered the sale to bring it in line,
Right.
and you're not building a good model that way. You're making it look good, but it doesn't produce as good a result.
Right.
That's all I got.
Can I just ask a quick question for years past, because I haven't done this before or followed it? What's the percentage of people who appeal versus of people who actually get something? So if 100 people come in, 10 of them we should expect have a decent case? 50% of them have a case? 75% of them? I mean, you could tell me 2 or you could tell me 99 and I wouldn't know. I would be shocked by either.
I don't know a percentage. I don't think I could give that to you, but I would tell you there's a lot of people that have angst because we have a shift in tax burden.
Taking minutes.
That's.
You'll have a lot of people that have a ton of evidence, whether or not it applies, but they have done their homework. So in terms of that, if that's what you're asking for,
We've got
you have a
prove that or
lot
that
to
fit.
go through.
I try to tell people, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
There's no.
Couple good comps, some good photos if it's a condition or
Capital B
something issue,
right
keep it
next to
simple.
each other.
Then you'll have the issue of people that come with an appraisal.
No space.
What are you gonna tell them? Appraisal's wrong? Well, how do you know it's wrong? You're not an appraiser.
Let's talk about appraisals.
That's why I went, because
Here we go.
Thank you for clarifying.
But wait, I think we need to vote before she leaves.
Very important.
Will we have enough?
What?
We'll have a quorum.
Okay, yeah, let's just vote. We're just gonna vote on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's vote.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I gotta vote on that language. All right? So, I'm gonna make this as the new motion, all right? I move that the Board of Assessment Appeals exercise its discretion under Connecticut General Statute 12-111, Section A1, to not conduct hearings for appeals of commercial, industrial, utility, or apartment properties with an assessed value greater than 1 million.
I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So it's unanimous.
Okay.
Should we talk about appraisals?
It's up to you guys. I mean, I will tell you that I think you should be expecting time adjustments if the comps are old, like if you got a comp that's a year old, you should expect to see a time adjustment because we know the market is rising and it hasn't stopped. So if you get an appraisal and they're pulling comps in from June and July of '24 and they don't put a time adjustment on it, that number is going to be low. If they have a July or a June of '25, not a big deal. It's not that far off.
So I'm not sure I got it. So if they try to get the assessment reduced based on the 2024 sale value.
They might throw comps that are old. They might have to use comps that are old to get enough.
So what do
But
I
it's-
do?
No, these are like.
You have to recognize that.
So if someone comes in with like an appraisal, like done from like a bank or an appraisal company, they'll be like, this is my appraisal that I've had professionally done. This is what it should be and match that, try to match that, right? So we're looking at this appraisal now and being like, all right, so is this a technically a valid appraisal? Does this have a case?
But what, I'm just,
Yeah.
you'll come here, if I could say, look, I can bring this forward
Yeah.
for further review.
Right, well, that's all you're doing. That's all you're doing in the hearing. You're just saying, okay,
Right.
and
You're just collecting your information,
Right.
asking
And then
questions.
you're gonna look
I
at their,
can't, I can't tell you that you're gonna win.
no,
No.
don't
No,
tell
I
me.
don't want to indicate that.
I have no idea.
Never.
No,
Yeah.
don't give them any indication. You're literally just collecting.
Don't give them any indication.
Yeah, you're just-
Oh, you'll regret that.
You don't want to do that.
Because you might feel 100% this is, and then you get here and something else goes sideways, and then you look like a jerk and they're going to be calling you.
Well, when I
Explain
when I
it.
appealed my value, I think it was 5 years ago, I had an appraisal recently because I had refinanced my mortgage.
Yeah.
And she looked at it and she said, "Oh, this is very recent." So I could tell this was valid data that might actually,
Yeah.
because it said my home wasn't worth
remember.
as much as it was appraised at.
Everything we're doing is opinions of value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My field card's an opinion of value and appraisal's an opinion of value. These are not factual.
That's
Right.
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 There's,
Nor is Zillow.
But I got the feeling, she didn't say that it was
Zillow.
good. She just said, oh, it's recent. I just, the tone of her voice was, this might hold up.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what
Sorry,
you're
Ross, I
looking
missed
for.
that.
I think it was like
I said Zillow is going to give you a value as of the
maybe
moment.
3.
Yeah.
Zillow will
That's perfect.
change
And you'll see that.
moment to moment.
How are you, Zillow?
So you gotta be careful with those models. I mean, they're getting better, but
I know you don't use it, but other
for
people
instance,
do.
Unfortunately, they'll come in here with it, but that's,
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
the project manager that we had, Salim Sadah was our project manager. The gentleman above him, John Valenti, is, he's like the smartest guy in the room. He is developing AI models. And he ran some AI modeling against our data just to test. So he's out there, he's doing AI and he's used it, tested it in several communities.
That's cool.
It's
It's a
interesting.
good use for it.
Yep.
I gotta run, is that okay?
Any other things about appraisals you think we should like specifically look at? Anything about appraisals that we should especially look at, you think? I mean, just the
What I look at is comps, are they good comps?
Yeah.
Are, is the house on a cul-de-sac and they're pulling houses out on a main road?
Right.
Are they old? The adjustments, 10% per line,
Yeah.
15% net, 25% gross.
Right.
So when you see massive adjustments, that may not be a good comp because they have to swing that property all over the place.
Well, when they do that, like, they do it for a reason, obviously. So they have standards they have to go by. So if they swing it, but it's within their standard, which we don't know what their standard is, they have standards they have to follow, just like you do, just like I do. Who are we to say you're wrong? Unless it's really obvious.
Well, if you've got a $700,000 house and they have to make adjustments to the comps of $100,000, something's not right. I mean, that's not a good comp.
Not a good comment, yeah.
It just makes it something you want to take a closer look at.
So our next meeting,
will be for the hearing. So be in touch with that schedule.
Okay,
All right?
thank you.
Thank you.
You guys have a good evening.
Good night.
All right, anything else? Anybody have anything else? All right.
I just know that one of the appeals is for an 830G home. I don't know if you saw that one when it came in. They're arguing that you shouldn't have raised their value because it's beyond what they can sell it for.
Okay.
I think that we need to take a really hard look at that because I spoke to economic development about it, and we really need to understand what it is that he's doing and what they're saying. So that's an important one to look at. I don't remember the number. I'd have to go back and look through all of them. I forgot to write the number down.
Let's wait till it's heard.
Yeah, we'll wait till see what it is, but just, be aware that that's
What's
going to come
830G?
up. The low-income housing.
Okay, okay.
It's low-income housing. You can call it whatever you want.
It's affordable housing.
Low-income. I can afford it. They won't give it to me.
It's not low income.
Low income.
You're incorrect.
Low-income. To me, it's
Well, it's
low-income.
not-
Call it whatever you, I think you can call it whatever you want. It's low-income housing. When somebody pays 200 and something thousand for a condo that's worth $1.6 million, that to me is low income. That's not affordable. That's just the way I look at it. But everybody's got a different opinion.
There's different levels. So they go by the median area income.
I know.
And it can be 80, 60, or 50%, depending on the project and what they do.
Any,
And if you're talking about Westway,
I am.
I recalc that. So I have I have an affordable calc that I did for that.
You didn't give it to him, did you? You didn't grant it, right?
When he came in through the informal, and I looked at that, there's 2 units that are affordable in that complex. I ran the affordable calc against it. He comes up with a different number than I do. That's why he's,
That's why he's coming here, which is fine, because
Thanks, Ross.
all right, yep, thank you, Russ. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great. All right, so, motion to adjourn?
all in favor.
All right.
Well, I guess it would-
Thank you, everybody.